Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. So this is part 2 video on ReactJS, Apollo GraphQL library, JSON GraphQL CRUD example. Nothing but a ReactJS CRUD example to consume the GraphQL endpoint. Okay. Now our main focus is to implement the read operation. The CRUD create, read, update, delete operation. We are focused on read operation. Okay. So let's add a new page level component. Okay, so first let me create the folder for pages component. Okay, in that let me add a new component like all toys.js. So this is my all toys component. Now I have to configure a route for this component. So let's install react router dom. Okay, to configure the routing into our application. Next I can add the route for my component. Okay, so in npm packages such like react router dom. Okay, copy this command and inside of the terminal let's install our router library. Okay, after installing the react router library, go to index.json. My app component should be wrapped around browser router. Okay, so that loads from the react router dom. You can see the reference. Okay, so app component is our entry component, right? So go to app component. Inside of the layouts, let me add routes. Okay, that loads from the react router. Okay, library. So inside of route, you can define individual route. Okay, and path. I will my it is my home component, right? I will simply use slash and element. To this element, I have to define the component I want to load. So I can define my all toys component. Okay, so that's it. That is my routing. Okay, now let's add some dummy HTML here and check whether we are able to see our all toys component is loading or not. Okay, for that, hi. Okay, okay, here you can see my hi all toys text message is coming. So my page component is loading. Okay, now our focus is to implement the read operation, right? So let's first play with the our playground. So this is the playground, right? GraphQL Playground. Once we run our JSON server application, if you go to this URL, this playground will come. So here we can define our GraphQL definition based queries and mutation. Okay, since I want to read the data, right? That means query. So now I have to frame a query to fetch the all the data from the GraphQL endpoint. So it is easy to do. How we have to do means by default here you can see the docs. So here you can see query and mutation. So if I click on query, since I am doing query, right, to fetch all the data, here it will display all the schema at the server. So by default it is automatically generated, okay, by based on our uh, db.json. We have added sample data, right? So based on this data, okay, the GraphQL JSON server automatically generated the schema. Okay, so this is the schema we have to use for fetching any kind of data. So first we are trying to fetch data. That means we have to explain. I am requesting for a query. For that, I have to define first query. See, this is GraphQL syntax, which looks like JavaScript object, but it is not a JavaScript object. First thing is that. Okay, this syntax is we have to follow these rules. Okay, so by keep on doing this, we get familiar. Okay, so don't panic by seeing this different kind of syntax. Okay, so query, this keyword represents I am telling GraphQL server this is my query. Okay, means I want to read some data from you. Next, I want to fetch the data from all. If you see here, there are few syntaxes here. Okay, so if you see toy, all toys, and all meta toys. So if you look, these are like some abstract methods, right? Some kind of methods at the server. Okay. So these methods are nothing but in GraphQL terminology resolvers. Okay. So I will use first this second one. So what this second one means, this is use all toys means all the data at the server. So now what we have to do means, since I want to re-invoke this method, right? I have to use this method name here. See, one of the best benefit using this GraphQL Playground is intelligence automatically appears. If you hit Control Space, see, it will show all the methods that are available at the server. Okay. Since I want to use all toys, right? Select it. Okay. And but here there are filtering input properties. Okay. All these are optional. Okay. How I can say optional means if they are not optional, you can see a exclamatory like this. That means those are mandatory fields. And if you observe, no one parameter has that exclamatory before that, after that type. That means all are optional fields. So I no need to uh, add any filters. So I can directly open the flower braces. Okay. Next. So inside of these flower braces, I have to specify uh, what are the properties I want to get from the response. Okay. So if you observe here, these are the properties, right? So you can request server required properties. No need to fetch all the properties. Okay. So if you observe here, I want only ID. Okay. Enter ID. See those properties also it will show intelligence. And now let me click on this run button. See, I got data. And here inside of data, one property is there. This is auto-generated property name based on our method name. Whatever we pass here, request name, that will come as a property name. Please remember it. And here you can see array of objects. Inside of array of objects, I am getting the ID values. So that is the beauty of the GraphQL. We can request only required property. And since this method return type is array of toys, so in that array of toys object, these are the fields. So whatever fields we requested, those fields only we will get. Okay. So I will request all the fields. No commas, nothing needed. Okay. Automatically intelligence is showing. If I run now, I'm able to see all the data will come here. Okay. See, since I am requesting all the properties here, right, inside of the method name, so all the data is coming. So this is the GraphQL query command to fetch my all the data. Okay. So I hope I have explained how we can frame the query for reading. Okay. So now I will use this query in my application for fetching. Okay. Let's create another folder to store this GraphQL query commands as well as mutation commands. Okay. So I will create a folder like GraphQL. Okay. And inside of it, I will create a JS like toy query JS. Okay. Here I'm going to write all the query comments of my GraphQL. Okay. So export constant, and this is for fetching all data, right? So I will name it like, you can give any name. Okay. Get all toys. Okay. Equal to, it should be written like a string, but it should be wrapped around GQL tag. Okay. That loads from the Apollo client. And next after GQL, open backticks. Don't add normal quotations. These are backticks. Okay. And copy this entire query and add here. Okay. Now I can use this variable as my query. Okay. So now what I will do, go to my all toys. So here, let me create a use state variable. to store my API response data. Okay. So initially empty array. Okay. I will name it like all toys data and set all toys data. Okay. So this array must be looped and binded here, right? So let me add React Bootstrap cards. So let's go to React Bootstrap website. Okay, click on components and go to card section. And at the bottom, I have my desired style. Okay, so copy this row and add it here. And then import the namespaces. Okay, and add it here. So here normal array, some static array, remove this and I can use all toys data. Okay, so this all toys data, I am expecting this response. Okay, so here we'll call toy and add a key toy.id. Okay, and image toy.image URL. You can copy the property names from here as well or from our db.json file. Okay, and since I am familiar, I am writing directly and toy.name. Okay, and here price toy.price. Until now, it is a normal React.js implementation. Okay, now I have to invoke this endpoint, right? So I can use, since I have already injected the Apollo client service, I can use some default methods in that one thing like use query. So this use query takes our query command. Just we have defined one query command, right? Get all types. It takes that as a input. Okay. Sorry. Get all toys. Okay. And here I can configure additional options here. If you want, you can ignore. But I want to configure one thing here, that is fetch policy. Okay. I want to specify no cache because by default GraphQL will use this in-memory caches because we have defined right in-memory cache. So it will use this in-memory cache. But initially I want to show without cache how it works. Okay. So because of this cache, it will work like a, in general, this cache work like a state while using the graph library. Okay. No need to add one more additional uh, state management. In-memory cache will be more than enough while using the GraphQL library. Okay. So for now, fetch policy no cache means it is always invokes the endpoint. It won't store the data into the cache. Okay. And from this use query, we can read lot of options here. So constant object of options. Okay. So what kind of options we can read means data, loading, lot of things. Okay. And error like this. All the things we can read. Loading means it is true means our API call is still in progress. Data means you will get response, right? If you see whenever I hit, this is the data, right? So this is the root property data we are reading here. Default root property for GraphQL endpoint is data. So that property here we are reading. And here error means if any error occurs, we can read. So for now, for my demo, I will simply use the data property only. Okay. So now what we will get, data dot all toys we will get, right? So that data I want to set into all toys data. For that I will use effect, okay, arrow function, and here I will wait for my data property change. Okay, data property means this property change. So here what I will do, I will check for whether I got all toys property or not. Okay, so this property is nothing but here our query property. So to not to confuse, I will copy the property name from here. Okay, so it will be a array. Right here you can see it is a array of objects. Okay, if that is exist, then I am set my all toys data. Okay, so data dot all toys. Okay, that's it. That is my read operation. If everything is good, then we can observe GraphQL endpoint invocation and data binding. Okay, let's test it. So if I go to my React application, see automatically here data is coming, right? So let me detail design it. Okay, first thing, let me add it inside of the container. Okay, design changes only. So let me add some padding, so margin top. Let me give some margin and I will expect 3 columns. Okay, and for this image, let me add some styles. Okay, object, object, height. Okay, some 400 pixels and wait, let it take 100%. Okay, let's check the output now. I'm expecting some better results. Okay, somewhat better. Okay, so here you can see image and prices all are binded. And if I go to network call, okay, and go to network call and click on XHR, now reload again. So here you can see my local host 4000, which is my GraphQL endpoint. And here see payload. See, there is a query property, and see this property. See how it is populated. This query property is nothing but the command here we have created, and this command we pass it to our use query. Where is use query? Use query. So that is sending to the server as a payload. Okay, and if you see the data, see the response. Root property is data and all toys. All toys is nothing but this all toys. Actually, this all toys is a method name at the server. Okay, and I'm getting the response from my API. So that means we are successfully done with the read operation. Okay, next we are going to focus on create operation. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video delivered some useful content to you all. If you like the video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel and give a thumbs up to the video so that it will be an encouragement for me to do more videos. Soon we are going to meet with new videos. Until then, signing off.